The emergence of absolute doom has turned Fortnite Island upside down. New locations, powerful weapons, and of course super abilities. Heroes unite, but will they be able to resist the most powerful villain in the history of Fortnite? Hey loopers, Philly here, and without further ado, let's get right down to business. And today in the issue, secrets of new locations, where to find superpowers, many other secrets, and most importantly, the sinister plan of Dr. Doom, who is going to call the devil himself and revive the imagined order. Stock up on popcorn and make yourself comfortable. And here we go. And traditionally, we start with the map changes, most of which were shown to us in the trailer of the new season, and you could see its analysis a week ago. The first thing that catches our eye when we first jump out of the battle bus is the huge Galatis Helmet, which is located in the northern part of the map. Apparently, Dr. Doom has eliminated all of his potential competitors and decided not to go easy on the Eater of Worlds by putting a huge hole in his head. So the new ruler of the island has a lot of power, and we'll talk about it soon enough. And since we are talking about Doom, it's time to visit his castle, which I believe can be called the best new location. It is located in a new biome, which reminds something of the Autumn Forest from the 4th season of the 2nd chapter. The snow in the northeastern part of the map has completely melted, and now you can find it in the mountains or near the Grand Glacier. Some may have noticed the similarity of the castle to the Oathkeeper's citadel. Bridges over rivers, zip lines, huge towers, and the spirit of the Middle Ages. In general, there are definitely some similarities. The castle itself turned out to be very atmospheric. When you land here for the first time, you immediately feel that here dwells not some second-rate villain, but a real absolute doom, who can subdue the entire Zero reality. And those who disagree with him will be added to his collection of murdered superheroes. Yes, in Dr. Doom's castle there is a whole hall with trophies of defeated heroes. There's the Silver Surfer and the entire Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic turned into a living rubber ball, Sue Storm trapped in a glass display case, or killed because there's no sign of life there. And the Thing was destroyed and turned into his stone throne. The Torchman, on the other hand, suffered a much crueler fate. His fiery heart literally heats Doom's room inside the fireplace. Apparently, in order not to traumatize children's psyche, Epix made the heart and the effect of fire comic, which, frankly speaking, is still scary. But that's not all the tropes of the season's main villain. It seems that for bringing the X-Men and other superheroes into Zero reality, Magneto paid with his life. Press F in the comments. The man may not have been stylish, but he died a true hero. Also, in the castle you can come across trophies of Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, Ultron, and even Thanos. All indications are that this version of Doom is the strongest and most ruthless in history, and he wants to get even stronger by harnessing the power of Pandora's box. But what caught my eye the most was Valeries Book, which is in the highest tower of the castle. Apparently, Hope's sister Valerie has been working for Dr. Doom since the beginning of Chapter 5, so we could be in for a real family drama at the end of the season. Let's move on to another place where Dr. Doom is no less loved. Doomstadt is located on the site of the former lavish Lair. Now, a small piece of Latveria, where locals literally pray to their ruler, can be visited on the island. Signs with Dr. Doom, advertisements with Dr. Doom. There is even an ice cream and pastry franchise dedicated to Dr. Doom. But there are superhero fans here too. In one of the houses on the location, you can stumble upon a room where a ton of merch related to Iron Man is scattered. So the Latverians aren't perfect either. And there is already information that somewhere in the 5th week of the season, the hero in an iron suit will also appear on the island. I mean, who better than Tony Stark to help us stop Dr. Doom? And from the looks of it, he'll have a new suit, which means a new skin. You can buy it all with my FillyFishy author code in the item store. The location itself turned out to be small, but quite cozy, somewhat similar to Tilted Towers. In the same style as another location, Doom's Courtyard. I don't see the point to dwell on it in detail because in essence it is the same Doomstadt, but smaller and with a huge statue dedicated to Dr. Doom. The last location added this season is Raft Prison. where the most dangerous villains from all realities are held. By the way, it reminded me of the updated The Shark from the second season of the second chapter, when that location turned into a prison. And it is located on the site of the former Pleasant Piazza, and now there is a real heat. Apparently, Doom moved the Raft Prison to 0 reality so he could raid it to recruit supervillains. Now his minions are walking around, and the location is run by his right hand, Emma Frost. Raft itself seems very large from afar. However, inside everything is pretty uniform. This doesn't make the location bad, but it hits the atmosphere hard. Though I was very pleased with some moments, for example, the sewer, through which you can both get into the prison and get out of it unnoticed. But this is not all the changes that took place on the island. For example, not far from Doomstadt, you can find a huge logo of Fantastic Four, which has been wrecked. Apparently, Dr. Doom left almost nothing of their tower. In addition, excavations have begun in several places on the island, and they are being led by Doom himself. He is searching for mysterious artifacts to absorb their power. Most likely, it is with the excavations will be associated with future earthquakes, information about which is already in the game files. And here is the Pandora's box lies where it was, but now it has completely lost all its power. It may eventually disappear from the island, as Doom plans to use its remains to smelt his armor. He's built himself a giant forge near the castle for this purpose. It is currently inactive, but with each artifact found, the smoke that comes out of the chimney will take on a greenish hue. Also, you can find out that he's turned Megalodon into his anvil. That's creepy. By the way, you can use it to fly far away because this season is not very easy to move around. And since we briefly touched on the Raider biome, we need to go over some small changes. First, nitro rings remained on the island, but they no longer give the effect of nitro. Secondly, Megalodon and the Machinist can no longer be found here, because of which the wastelands are completely empty. By the way, the Frog family is still there, so the superhero showdown hasn't gotten to them yet. Let's hope that their humble refuge will not be disturbed. Many railroad stations, and even the train itself also came under the control of the Doom, and this is the end of the main changes on the island. If you noticed something important or interesting, you can write about it in the comments. Well, from the new locations, we move on to the gameplay features of the season. 100% everyone is interested in the new abilities that have already appeared in the game. How they work I have already told in the video with the trailer parsing, so we will not dwell on it. Finding them is quite easy. Special containers of either Avengers or Doom spawn all over the island, from where you can get not only new items, but also hero abilities. Personally, I was saddened by the fact that essentially the warrior costume with all its accoutrements was split into as many as 3 items. A satchel that allows you to fly and make a dash to the side, a shoulder turret, and gloves that shoot either a machine gun or rockets. I don't know about you, but I wasn't happy with this division at all. For those who were worried about medallions, I hastened to rejoice. They remained in the game but were changed. Now we have 3 medallions that still fall out of bosses. From Emma Frost in Raft Prison, from Mysterio in Doomstadt, and from Doom in Duma Castle. Emma Frost's medal shows the location of the nearest enemies once a minute. It's a kind of wall hack, but it's balanced. Targets are marked for 20 seconds, which is enough time for you to reach your victim. Mysterio's medallion has a unique mechanic. You get invisibility when squatting. However, this invisibility goes away from any rustle, but it's still interesting to use. And the most useful ability of Doom's medallion, it performs the function of life stealing. When we kill enemies, a part of life is returned back. It also drops gloves. They work almost 1-in-1 like Doom's gloves from Season 14. In general, if you want to get a real advantage, I advise you to fly here. Later, they will add another medallion, the release of which will be timed to coincide with the 7-year anniversary of Fortnite. It will spawn balloons behind our back every time we win. Sounds interesting. Let's see how it will be. With the new weapons, the situation got even more interesting. In fact, we were added 4 guns, 2 of which turned out to be okay, and 2 of which will most likely deteriorate. Let's start with the new shotgun. Roughly speaking, it's an updated version of the lever-action shotgun, which does a good amount of damage in close combat. However, despite its rapid fire speed, this shotgun takes quite a long time to reload. The AUG and SCAR have returned from the vault, and they haven't changed much since their last appearance, except that the AUG doesn't look the same to me. I really liked the new gun though. It does a ton of damage with almost no recoil, and it shoots fast. And if you put some kind of sight on it, you can easily scare everyone sitting somewhere in the bushes. But if the pistol can be locked, then double submachine guns are a different story. In the network, it was calculated that their legendary version does 416 damage to the body and 604 damage to the head, and this is only from one magazine. Now imagine what happens if you face a squad where everyone has one of these submachine guns. I think it's needless to say that they will be deteriorated soon, because at the moment, they are the strongest weapon in the loot pool. Another problem with the new season is the total lack of movement. Compared to how chaotic it was last season, Fortnite just feels really slow now. First, removed nitro, and secondly, reduced the chance of spawning cars. In fact, all we have now is the Warrior's Satchel, which is also not very strong, shockwave grenades, and gravity slurp. It is clear that this is not all gameplay chips that will appear this season. The game files have already been updated with superpowers from the 4th season of the 2nd chapter, and by the 5th week, Tony Stark will appear with his own tricks. So don't be disappointed if you haven't found Stark's rifle and Iron Man's repulsors. They will all be in the game during the season. But the plot is covered with the darkness of riddles and mysteries. At the moment, it is known that Doom wants to create a new imagined order in zero reality. Obviously, we need to stop him, but how to stop the villain who killed Thanos for breakfast, killed Galactus for lunch, and at dinner killed all the superheroes who tried to stop him? A big question. And he hasn't scraped his armor or absorbed the power of the artifacts that are being hunted. Well, the situation is clearly not in our favor. But what's Doom's motive? Does he just want to create the perfect society and that's it? Maybe there's something personal involved. The thing is that in his throne room, you can see both Doom himself and a woman in a green robe and hood on the stained glass windows. And it is definitely not Valeria, as there is a statue dedicated to the woman in the northwest of the island. A red rose lies at her feet, and the statue itself is surrounded by a multitude of candles. This hints at Doom's mother, as in the comics, Cynthia Von Doom was imprisoned in Mephisto's dimension. So in theory, now that Doom has absolute power, he can try to get her out of there. But most likely he'll have to summon Mephisto himself to do it. That is, the devil in the Marvel universe. And in fact, this could very well be true, because this season will feature a Fortnitemares Halloween event, and this kind of creepy paranormal stuff will fit in perfectly. What do you think? Would you like a Marvel Universe devil summoning and a really creepy atmosphere on the island? Personally, I'm all for it. But either way, it's hard to say right now how the battle for the island will end this time around. Data mainers really already dug up information that the final event of this chapter will be related to the Midas unit. So, who knows? We may have to go back in time to call Gino for help. Anyway, I'll break it all down in a special story vid that I'll release later. And yes, Dr. Doom has almost completely taken over the island, but that's just the beginning. The start of Season 4 has been intriguing, and soon we'll be facing the strongest villain in Fortnite history. I wonder how we'll be able to stop him. Write your assessment of the start of the season on a scale of 10. And the first season update will be out in 2 weeks, so properly ring the bell and write my creator code to the item store. By all means, don't forget to put your superhero or supervillain like, it was me, Philly, on the line as always. And bye.